All right, welcome back. So we are done with the majority of the work. So let's see our workflow here. So we're left with vignette and a watermark. So let's quickly add that. So I usually like to add a vignette at the end, and that's how most photographers do it. So for the vignette, you just have to go over to, let me just close everything so that it looks good. Okay. So just go down here on to effects, and then you have this post crop vignetting. And vignetting just means darkening the corners, and I almost always do that to my landscape images. It just kind of adds a dramatic feel to it. So if you move it, not this side, the white vignette looks very bad, but this side. Right, so you can see this really looks good. You have some points here. I usually leave them at default, but they just kind of, work on the vignette, like the feathering or the roundness. For example, I can have a more squarish vignette or a more round vignette. It's totally up to you. Usually if you leave them in the center, it's fine. Like you can see here. Feathering is of course important. You don't want to have a vignette like this. You need some feathering. So also you don't want to go absolutely on here, though you can. A lot of people do. Sometimes I do that. This one is fine, but this is totally not fine. But something like this is fine. So like I said, the defaults are usually fine. And some people like to go for a stronger vignette like this. I usually don't go for that. Just a very subtle vignette where the point is that you're trying to just center in the viewer's attention. Okay, that's it. So totally depends on the image sometimes. Probably for this, I'll go for something like this. Maybe even this is slightly too strong. I think something like this is fine for this. The last step is going to be a watermark. So how do you first of all develop your watermark? So you go to edit, and then you click on edit watermarks here, and then you can create your watermark. For example, let's say I can write Kush Sharma here. Okay, then I can do certain things with it. I can move its position using this. I can have it on this corner, in the center. Don't use center watermarks. I just don't like them at all. A lot of people do that. If someone wants to steal your image, they will steal it. There's no doubt about it. These days, it's too easy. So, and definitely don't have a very big watermark. That's another turn off, I feel. Okay. So something like this, we can move around the watermark with this. We can also decrease the opacity. That's something I always do. I don't like the watermark to really stand out and take the attention from the viewer. So don't have very loud watermarks. Opacity, reducing the opacity really just makes them very subtle. Okay. And then what you can do is, if you're happy with this, you can just click on save, and it'll ask you, do you want to save this as a preset? And I can give this a name. I can say Kush Sharma watermark. Okay, and click on create. Okay, watermark, and click on create. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to be using this text watermark. I have a separate watermark which I've designed in Photoshop. You can ask a designer to design it for you, or you can design it for yourself. But it's always recommended that you have a nice design. It just looks more appealing. For example, we have this particular, our logo for Creative Pad Media, which is my watermark, and you can see here. So this is what it is. Of course, I don't want it this big. I'll probably go for something like 20. Yeah, I think this is fine. I'll just move this slightly down. Oops. Okay, this is tough to manage. The slider is not really too responsive, or maybe it's too responsive. Okay, fine. This is cool. Right now, I'll be okay with this. And then my opacity is fine. Probably I'll just decrease it even further, make it really just merge with the sand. Okay, and then I'll save this as a preset. So I'll call it, Creative Pad Media Official Watermark. Okay, so I can give it that name and click on create. Okay, now the final step is exporting. Okay, exporting your image, because now we're done with all the work, but whatever we've done has been mainly on a raw file, so we need to save this as a JPEG. Okay, so that's the way you should go to File, you click on Export. It's going to ask you some questions. For example, where do you want to export this to? For now, I'll just choose desktop, but you'll be storing this wherever you want to store your shots. Okay. Usually I don't touch this. Let it be file name and sequence. That is the name of the file. In case, you can also create a custom name from this drop down menu. File settings, make sure quality is set to 100. Usually let all these remain to default, even everything here default. And watermarking, this is where you select the watermark that you saved. So I want to use Creative Pad Media official watermark, right? So it'll automatically come once this exports. Okay, and after export, do nothing, show in Explorer. Okay, that's fine, and we're just going to click on export. And it might just take some time here. You'll see the rendering going on here. And boom, if I just open this up, this is our final image with everything, including the watermark. And this is a JPEG image. Let's compare this with the original. It is a huge, huge difference, right? After and boom, before. And we did so many things, but the important thing is we did them in a nice workflow, using a nice workflow, which just can be applied to a lot of images like you're going to see in this course. Again, before and boom. So I hope that you like this video. I'm going to see you in the next one where we'll be editing another image. Bye for now.